Zoom quick tip. I want to show you how to use Zoom as a screencasting tool in order to make the most of the screen annotation features that are found in Zoom. We already know from using tools like QuickTime on our Macs that we do have a good screencasting tool there, but the screen annotation tools in Zoom can add an extra layer of functionality for us. So we, just as always, we want to be a little thoughtful about how we set up our room and some of the options that we have turned on to make sure this all works nicely. So if we check out the settings I have on my end, I've got two participants here, myself, which is the Ziggy Stardust background, and then I have a clone of my other account, which is just the home office here. So that's how we'll be telling the difference. If I want to do an annotated showing here, I'm going to put away my Manage Participants bar because I don't really need that anymore. In this case, I'm using QuickTime to capture the video, so I don't really need to record this on top of it. But if I want my recording to show what I'm doing in this, so let's say I have students and I'm annotating, well, that's great. But if I want to, I'm doing something without students, so I'm the only person in the meeting, and I'm going to go to a website and draw, over, in this example, we're going to be drawing over a map. But if I had, a drawing document open and I was going to be doing math equations, if you think about like what's going on in something like Khan Academy, or I just have a PDF of a worksheet and I'm going to complete that PDF, not by writing in the PDF app, but by annotating it over it with the tools in Zoom, I'm going to want to record that in some way. So if I look down at my tools here for Zoom, I have record, and I can say record on this computer or record to the cloud. So I'll record to the computer. You can see that it is recording. And again, I'm not going to use this video, but if you're the only person in this meeting and you want to be able to show this, post this out for students later, you want to make sure that you do record it. So first things first, do the recording feature that you want. Of course, you could do the save it to the cloud as well and then post that out now that you have those district licensed accounts. So now that I'm recording, and I've also, want to make sure that I've got my audio and my video. So here I know that my headset is my speaker and my microphone, so that's great. It's good to see that I've got this little indicator telling me, yep, my students can hear my voice. Well, shouldn't say that. The computer is receiving my voice. Obviously, there's settings on their end that will dictate whether they can actually hear or not. So now we're ready. We want to... I am someone who likes to get things set up ahead of time, so I've already got the website that I want to go to annotate on already pulled up. You might do that as well, but you could also do it as part of the video and then trim it off. There's always that like you could do your setup while you're recording, or do your setup before you start recording and edit it afterward. Okay, so we'll go up to Screen Share. And I'm going to choose this desktop. Because this is the one I'm recording in QuickTime, you could, of course, just go right over to the map, the place that you've already squared away, and tell it to do that. But I want to make sure it's all happening on this desktop because that's the one that we're recording for this screencast. Okay, so I'm going to go here and say Share. So now all that Zoom tools goes away into its little box up here. And I've got my tools now floating at the top. So now I need to go get my website. I need to go get the content that I want to share with my students. So I'm going to take what's in Chrome and pull it down here into this desktop. And again, you could easily just have gone over to that desktop. I'm doing this because I want to make sure that you can see what I'm doing in the recording. All right, so let's say I want to do a state capitals unit or lesson with my students. I could go to this website. This could be an image that I've saved and I've got it opened up, in preview. And instead of using the annotation tools there, I can use the annotation tools that are built into Zoom. This is nice because I don't have to then figure out okay, preview has these illustration tools where I could put stars on the capitals and write on it. Oh, but then I want to go over and watch this video about the state capitals. Well, wait, can I annotate over that? Oh, no, I can't because I don't have annotation tools within Chrome. In this case, the annotation tools are built into Zoom, so we can annotate over everything. And it gives us just one set of tools that we need to learn to leverage instead of learning 5 different programs where we can do that. So now that I'm ready to begin my annotations, if I go up to this floating toolbar, I have the Annotate button. I can turn that on and I get a bunch of choices. And I could put dots, say I wanted to say, oh, let's put a indicator for where the continental U.S. or all the Pacific state capitals are. So I could do a dot in the drawing tool. I was using this earlier and I found that I liked the stamps. So it's like if they have a star, and that works pretty well. So now if I want to go through and drop a stamp on Olympia, I'm going to say Salem is right here-ish. And then same with Sacramento. I feel like I'm reasonably sure that that's there. Juneau, I'm going to say is right up in there. And then I believe this one's Oahu. So, well, actually, I'm sure this is Oahu. So that would make Honolulu right there. So, in that way, I have now dropped a star on each of those using the stamp tool. And then if I wanted, students to, if I was then going to name those, I might go to my text tool. I can drop a text box. Yeah, Salem. I have some ability to change those. So once I've dropped one in there, I'm placing other ones. So there's other tools like this where, if you now want to move it around, you'd have to move off the text box tool, because you can see I was trying to add another text box. But if I go, move it a little bit closer, nest it under there. You can adjust colors, you can adjust fonts to a certain degree. There's some of those tools are probably pretty obvious. The text one here, if I go over to format, I've got, I guess not so much font, but bold, italic, and size, line widths, colors that can be adjusted for those. I do have an undo and redo, which I could even use as a reveal. So if I took the text here for Sacramento, gonna go to my select tool, and I deleted it, and then I want to, say I typed it in ahead of time, I could almost use it as a revealer. I used to go to the undo, and then, we want to hide that again, redo, and now I can bring that in. The spotlight feature is kind of neat. This gives you a laser pointer. So I'm looking at my iPad down below, and I can see that I have a red dot there that's showing up for where this indicator is. Your cursor can kind of call attention as well, but if you don't have that set to show, it might, though the laser pointer feature is nice. I also found this feature, which is this little drop arrow. And so, if I could say, I could drop an attention cue there, and this might lead to us having our discussion about Idaho, and, do we know the state capital name? And then once we've established that it's Boise, we might discuss, exactly where it is, and, that might lead us to dropping our arrow or our star in a location that I'm pretty sure is close to where Boise is. And then once I'm ready to move on to another state, all right, well, let's talk about Utah and establish where Salt Lake City is. So this one's got nice because now I could drop this indicator and then be using my cursor to go around and find, open up another tab or pull in, if I had a calculator over here, I could go over and use that calculator. Some tools like in Google Slides where it's great because you have the laser pointer, but now you've lost the use of your cursor if you're using the laser pointer, and if you needed to then go over and check your notes or something, you'd be moving the laser pointer off the screen and therefore reducing its usability. So this is kind of nice if I was writing out equations, or we were discussing math problems on a worksheet. I could drop this pointer to say, so students have this reference point of, well, which one are we talking about? Oh yeah, okay, we're on this one where the pointer is. And then very easy to just move that around. Once I'm done and want to clear this map, I have several options within the clear area: all drawings, just my drawings, and clear the viewer's drawings. There is the ability for you to give so let me, on mine, as the student, I can ask to be able to draw. You can control this in the participants menu. So here is me on the iPad drawing on New Mexico. If I ask okay, there's a state out here whose capital is Santa Fe. Go ahead and circle that. The student could come in, circle New Mexico, and then I can say, all right, great, clear viewer's drawing. So it kept all mine, and then do the same thing. There's a state on here whose capital is Baton Rouge. Come through, student grabs their pen, and they can circle on there. So the ability to clear just the students or the viewers without having to do all yours, and I might say, well, now we're going to be switching modes, so let's wipe out those. And then we could go through and have folks identify the ones that they're circling. Once that's all finished, I can even save the annotations. So if we mark this all up with the names, and you might have a clean one that you don't really need the lesson from, but you can certainly imagine if we were working on a page from worksheet that was given with our math curriculum, and we wrote out the answers to those, you might want to save an annotation of that. So it says screen saved and show in Finder. That is going to be the whole screen. So if you did want to make, there's benefit, and again, I've got this on my desktop because I want to make sure that you're seeing all the controls that I have in this QuickTime recording. But if you're doing this in Zoom, it would behoove you to go up to full screen and make sure that folks aren't really getting this, this border of your background or whatever, other things, notifications and things you might have popping in. So that's annotations. Of course, with any of these more advanced Zoom tools, it's worth going in and setting up your own room, testing it. Of course, you could use this live in a meeting, but it's really nice as a screen recording tool. And another nice thing about doing those screen recordings where you're the only participant is, you can make it as perfect as you need it to be, or as seamless as you need it to be. So this was using the annotation tools in Zoom to screencast